This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
It's Tuesday, June 23rd, and right now on Good Morning Indiana.
New details in the police shooting death of Dray Reed. Call 6 investigates with the information involving this high-profile case.
Very slow. It's slow. People are still nervous about coming downtown.
Businesses in downtown Indianapolis are still trying to get back to normal after dealing with the pandemic shutdown and the aftermath of last month's riots.
One thing we have to remember is that we all experience anxiety.
Social distancing, isolation, and financial concerns can take a big toll on our mental health. Working for you this morning, we're talking to a mental health professional about how you can cope with the impacts of this pandemic.
We begin this morning with breaking news you will only see here on RTV6. We have more exclusive details on the shooting death of Dray Reed.
Reed's shooting back on May 6th set off days of protests here in our city.
This morning, Call 6 Investigates has new information in a complicated case that has strained the relationship between the public and police. The police chase involving Dray Reed led to a foot chase on May the 6th. As Officer Mercer ran after him, Drayjon's Facebook live stream did not stop. The police use of a taser to stop the 21-year-old did not work. Metro Police say that Reed shot a weapon twice. Call 6 has learned that Officer Mercer fired his gun more than 10 times. Metro Police report a gun was found by Reed's body. 2 casings from that weapon were recovered. Call 6 Investigates has learned that the gun in question matches the description of the weapon seen in Drayjon's front waistband during the Facebook live stream. Drayjon's legal team claims this surveillance video RTV6 showed last week is evidence that Drayjon was not holding a gun in his hands as he ran. Instead, Reed's lawyers say he was holding a T-shirt and 2 cell phones. Based on that, they contend that Drayjon did not fire at Officer Mercer. The casings from the weapon found near Reed's body were inputted into a national law enforcement database system known as NIBIN. It stands for National Integrated Ballistics Information Network. It's run by the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives, better known as the ATF. Information from the casings that are processed are shared with local and state law enforcement to help connect the sources of gun-related violence and crimes. Call 6 Investigates has learned that Metro Police was alerted and that the casings from the weapon in Reed's possession match casings found somewhere else where damage from bullets were found and reported. And this morning, we don't know where or when those other casings that were found that are connected to the weapon recovered by Reed's body, when they were found and who was behind the gun at the time. As for the officer firing more than 10 times, that could be part of his training. That will be up to the investigation to determine whether the shooting, though, was justified or not. And this morning, Lauren, still so many unanswered questions. We'll keep working on this story.
Raphael Meredith here. I'm curious, what are you hearing from police, the lawyers for Reed's family, the lawyer for Officer Mercer, and the special prosecutor?
Well, Meredith, all parties were given to 11 a.m. yesterday. I made them all aware of this story that was going to air this morning, and they all were able to respond if they could. Metro Police and the lawyer for Officer Mercer did not respond to our request, but the special prosecutor did provide us this information. She says, the ethical rules do not permit me to comment on the details of a pending investigation. Now, the legal team for the estate of Dray Reed says, in part, we fully expected that during our campaign for truth to be told that we would be hit with alternative facts. Alternative facts make this report highly suspicious, given that they directly contradict testimony from multiple eyewitnesses. They say they've not been given any access to the evidence, and they go on to say that the fix was in from day one. Just last week, as you may recall, right here on Good Morning Indiana, we showed you that brand new video moments before the shots were fired. All of those stories and this developing story right now on our website, theindychannel.com. The time now is 6:05. Time to check your forecast with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Good morning, TK.
Raphael, good morning to you. It's been a pretty wet overnight period here across central Indiana as we have dealt with parts of the area seeing some very heavy rainfall. That heavy rain that has come to an end now. That is the good news. And pretty much all the rain showers are starting to move out of central Indiana. Here's a live look at Storm Team 6 radar. And the heaviest of the rain that we have is still down to our south near Seymour and then extends up towards the Greensburg area. And that is just about it. So the trend throughout the day today is going to be for the rain to move out and then the clouds to move out as well, and we'll get some sunshine in here as the day goes on. It's a little muggy still this morning with temperatures in the 60s, but the humidity is going to drop throughout the day as well. So it becomes more and more comfortable. It becomes brighter. You'll notice the wind kick up a little bit, but the afternoon hours should be pretty pleasant across the area as high temperatures today will eventually top off in the upper 70s to right around 80 degrees.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. It is 6:06. We're keeping a close eye on your traffic this morning. Here is a live look right now at I-70. This is near State Road 267, where you can see we have some ongoing construction work, but traffic is still moving along up to speed both eastbound and westbound through that area. Keep in mind, if you're in Hendricks County, areas on the west side, we still have the eastbound lanes of I-70 closed between Ronald Reagan Parkway and the South Split. That is set to wrap up on June 28th. The opposite direction westbound will close by the end of this week.
Now to the latest on the COVID-19 pandemic. The Indiana State Department of Health is reporting 277 new cases. That brings the total number of cases to 42,633. Nearly 11,000 of those are in Marion County. 13 new deaths were also confirmed. Nearly 419,000 Hoosiers have been tested for the virus. A little more than 10% of those have come back positive. Today, Indianapolis leaders in the United Way will announce plans for a new program to help get personal protective equipment to nonprofit groups. $2 million will help pay for the nonprofit PPE Restart Initiative. We'll learn more when the mayor speaks at 10:30 this morning. The funding is part of an $80 million plan approved earlier this month by the City County Council. The money is meant to support local programs that help residents most impacted by COVID-19.
Well, it has been months since many businesses in downtown Indianapolis have been filled with customers. Just as the coronavirus restrictions were starting to ease, some of those restrictions, or some of the restaurants rather, and stores, they had to board up windows after protests here in Indy turned violent.
And Lauren, this morning our Kelsey Anderson joins us live with what one local business owner is saying right now. Kelsey, good morning to you.
Hey, good morning, Raphael. So this is the new normal right now for downtown Indy. Boarded up windows at businesses and restaurants as they work to revitalize downtown and open their businesses back up. The owner of Jack's Donuts here on Market Street says after months of disruptions, downtown Indy needs help or it may never be the same. Chris Carnivus had a front row seat watching downtown Indy go from lively to ghost town. Carnivus owns Jack's Donuts on Market Street. His donut shop was one of the first businesses to be damaged when peaceful protest turned into violent riots on May 29th. He says businesses downtown is slowly increasing, but believes the economic damage is already done. He has reopened his store, but says he plans to keep the boards up until city leaders address the concerns of protesters. He says business owners would like to have a word with the mayor too.
The mayor, I mean, we haven't heard from the mayor. The mayor's been in hiding since this all happened. I mean, his job is to make sure that the city is a safe, secure place. He should be out meeting with the business owners of the community, and he's failed to do that. We've heard nothing from him since this has happened.
Now, we did reach out to Mayor Hogsett's office, and Deputy Communications Director Mark Bodie says, quote, the mayor's office has been in continued contact with downtown establishments and associations throughout the past several months. We are working to maintain lines of communication with businesses on reopening from both the pandemic and the protests, while also supporting advocacy organizations, including Downtown Indy, to support businesses during this difficult time. Now, you can see behind me on this panel every morning, this greets Chris Carnivus. It says, I'm sorry, Chris, but we have to be heard, and he's hoping that people will continue to come downtown if they have the time and the extra money right now and spend money at these local businesses to help revitalize the city. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you. Here at 610, many Indiana schools are trying to figure out what the next school year is going to look like. The state is offering funding to improve e-learning at the same time. Governor Eric Holcomb announcing that schools and higher education institutes can apply for some help with this new grant. The $61.6 $6 million grant is being provided through the Federal CARES Act. The money will make more digital learning devices available, address internet connectivity issues, and teacher development. The deadline to apply for this funding is Friday, July 17th.
Like many services and organizations, one here in Indy that helps provide school supplies for children was impacted by the pandemic. Indy Backpack Attack typically starts gathering school supplies now to be able to provide it to kids at the start of the school year. But with COVID-19, they'll be changing up the way they help the community. Our Alyssa Donovan explains.
Every year, Indy Backpack Attack asks for donations of backpacks, notebooks, colored pencils, you name it. But this year, they're doing things a little bit differently.
Around 30,000 kids benefit from the collection of supplies by Indy Backpack Attack each year.
With COVID-19, we're afraid that with all the touches on the supplies, everybody, you go shopping, you put it in a bin, somebody else gets it.
To eliminate the issue of supplies trading hands over and over again in the donation process, Indy Backpack Attack is asking for all monetary donations this year so that they can buy supplies in bulk.
Then we can ship it straight to the schools with very limited actual touching of the supplies.
We had to make those adaptations to make sure that we can protect the volunteers, we can protect the students, and we can protect the faculty at the school as well.
They'll also be cutting back the amount of volunteers. That way there won't be as many people working in the warehouse.
Purchasing those in bulk, we'll know what we're getting in, so we don't have to actually count anything and sort it on the way in. We know exactly what we have and we know the distribution plan.
The goal is to raise $300,000 with the hope of raising the first $75,000 this Wednesday. They want to collect monetary donations by July 24th so that there's plenty of time to put in bulk orders for supplies and ship them to the schools before the school year starts, even though right now it's unclear if kids will even be back in the classroom.
With the uncertainty on when they're actually going to start right now, it's just going to have to work.
The virtual kickoff event for the 2020 school supply drive is this Wednesday at 8 a.m. For details on how to participate or donate, you can visit theindychannel.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Social distancing, financial and health concerns can take a toll on our mental health. After the break, what one expert says you can do to ease anxiety during this pandemic. But first, let's check your forecast with TK. Good morning, sir.
Raphael, good morning to you. We're in the process of moving the rain out and bringing in a new air mass across central Indiana. You'll notice the wind pick up throughout the day today, but those are the winds of change. It's going to bring in a cooler, more refreshing air mass, and we'll get the sunshine back this afternoon as well. We'll talk all about it in detail for you coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:13 rather. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6.
Easy. Even Petey can do it.
Social distancing, isolation, and financial concerns can take a big toll on our mental health.
And Meredith, the Rebound Indiana is about sharing advice and resources right now that can help you cope with the pandemic. Our colleague, RTV6's Amanda Starantino, she spoke with a psychiatrist at Ascension St. Vincent, Dr. Mitesh Patel. He wants people to know that anxiety is normal, but at a certain point, it's key to reach out for help.
One thing we have to remember is that we all experience anxiety. I think we can all think of situations where we've had anxiety and it's helped us perform better or perhaps helped us in our academic achievement. This situation is no different, except that, I think people can certainly experience excessive levels of anxiety to where it could impair their functioning. So I think that's where I would draw the line. If it's getting hard for you to attend to your daily activities, then anxiety is probably at a point where it's excessive. Anxiety serves to alert us to important situations. Of course, this is an important situation with the pandemic going on. And so we often have to remember that a certain amount of anxiety, a little bit of anxiety, helps us as people. But for those people that are experiencing excessive levels of anxiety, there are lots of things that they can do outside of medications or seeing a professional to kind of help with how they're feeling. We are all going through something right now. These are unprecedented times. It is a very tough adjustment. So I think trying to be mindful that we're all going through this process, and though it feels very bad, humanity is resilient, and we've always gotten through adversity, and I think we will do the same this time.
Amanda, thank you for that interview. Dr. Patel says if you are not getting the relief from anxiety, absolutely reach out to a therapist or a psychiatrist. For those struggling, the number to reach the suicide hotline if you need help is 1-800-273-8255 or text IN to 741-741 for suicide prevention. You can also visit BeWellIndiana.com, and you can find additional resources on our website, theindychannel.com/rebound. Tomorrow on Good Morning Indiana, Dr. Patel discusses the importance of taking time just for you, especially while spending time with your family. The time now is 6:18. Time to check your forecast with meteorologist Todd Clausen. Hey, TK.
Raphael, good morning. Things starting to change here across central Indiana. We had pockets of real heavy rainfall throughout the overnight hours. Those are moving out. That is the good news, as the rain is not only coming to an end as far as the heavier showers, but most of the showers, as I'll show you on Storm Team 6 radar in just a second, are moving out of the area. Sunshine returns this afternoon. The humidity drops as the wind will start to pick up here throughout the course of the day. Here is a look at radar and what's left of the rainfall. You can see some scattered showers down towards the Seymour area. They're all very, very light. Some heavier rain still near the Greensburg area, and then some scattered showers towards Connorsville. But these are all moving off into Ohio pretty quickly. And after that, we should be done with the rain, with the exception of maybe a possible quick passing little sprinkle as we work our way into the course of the mid-morning hours. And that's as the actual front goes through. There could be a stray shower or two. But other than that, any significant rainfall is over for the day. And you look back off to the west and you can see the clouds breaking apart already across parts of Illinois. Let me walk you through it on TrueCast hour by hour. And there's that little spot shower chance. You see the little specks of green here on the screen. But by 3 p.m., most everybody is partly cloudy. And as we continue throughout the evening hours, sky should be mostly sunny. It does turn a little breezy, though, today, as the winds will kick up to about 20 miles per hour or so. But it's a northwesterly breeze, so that's a cooler, more refreshing wind direction. And that's what's going to help to knock the humidity down throughout the course of the day. Temperatures right now are in the mid to upper 60s across the area. And these temperatures are going to hold very, very steady throughout the morning hours with the clouds in place. But once we get into that sunshine, that's when the temperatures will take a jump forward. Look for highs in the mid to upper 70s as we work our way into the afternoon hours. And then it's very comfortable this evening as well. If you have plans to be out and about, patio would be a nice place to find. Tomorrow's temperature is still in the mid to upper 70s with skies that'll be mostly sunny. There's one little small window of opportunity tomorrow for a quick passing shower. Don't be shocked if you see it, but overall it's going to be a pretty nice Wednesday for us. Thursday is the best day of the week weather-wise, no doubt about it. 83 degrees, sunshine, low humidity, and then once we work our way into Friday, the temperature jumps up to 88 degrees. It's more humid with about a 30% chance of an isolated storm, and then those storm chances will continue into the weekend as well. The weekend's not a washout by any means. It's just those typical afternoon storms you may have to dodge from time to time with high temperatures that'll be climbing, Lauren, into the mid-80s.
All right, Todd, thanks so much. Let's take a look at traffic as you're heading out there on this Tuesday. This is I-70 to our east, a view here near Cumberland Road. Traffic is moving along up to speed, both eastbound and westbound. No crashes to slow you down around the metro area at this time. Well, a clever teen used the additional delivery instructions to catch a funny moment on camera. How he managed to get the delivery driver in on the act. That story and more coming up after the break. Stay with us.
Keller and Keller, right now.
Welcome back. It is 6:24. We're keeping a close eye on traffic for your commute. Here's a look on the northwest side, I-465 near West 46th Street, where traffic is traveling up to speed in all directions. No crashes to report around the metro area at this early hour.
Okay, I have a feeling this little guy might start a trend here, and we might see this happening to other parents. A trickster teenager and an Amazon delivery driver made for some laughs in Delaware. The teen put a note in the delivery instructions instructing the delivery person to knock on the door 3 times and scream abracadabra as loud as you can and run super fast away. Well, take a look at what happened.
Abracadabra!
That driver nailed it, and the family cracked up when they saw it on their doorbell camera. camera.
Oh my goodness, I love that. And I love that we can capture things on our Ring doorbell cameras now.
Yes.
A lot of good moments there. Well, up in St. Paul, Minnesota, there's a Facebook group that grants little wishes to nearby users amid the COVID-19 pandemic. A person can request a small gift, maybe a little money, or an exchange of presents like scissors. So far, the group has granted 150 little wishes, some leading to new friendships. Users say the group sparks a little bit of joy.
That's fantastic. Here's some folks that are just joyful. A shout out this morning to Aaron Smith and Susan McCarty. They are today's hometown heroes. Their company, Spotlight Strategies, is behind those hero signs we've seen everywhere. They've distributed more than 6,000 signs to people in more than 18 states, including right here in Indiana. We thank you for those signs. We thank you for your efforts. What an amazing thing to do during this pandemic. Now time to check your forecast with Todd Clausen.
Yeah, Raphael, we're still dealing with the clouds and a few lingering showers after the heavy rainfall that many of us dealt with during the overnight hours. And here's a live look outside right now as you look from downtown off to the west, and you can see the overcast skies still. But again, we're starting to dry out. That is the good news. Over the next couple hours, we're still stuck with the clouds and the rather muggy conditions, but temperatures will be in the 60s. But as we get into the afternoon hours, the skies, they will start to brighten across the area. We'll get the sunshine back. The humidity will drop throughout the afternoon hours, and it really becomes a pretty decent Tuesday for us. Just got to be patient for the next couple hours. Highs in Lafayette, Terre Haute, and Bloomington and Columbus, probably in the low 80s as you work your way to the east, where the clouds linger just a little bit longer. High temperatures in the 70s, but even in Muncie and Richmond, you too will eventually get into the sunshine by mid-afternoon.
Todd, thank you. The pandemic and the economic shutdown has hit many businesses really hard, but surprisingly, some companies are seeing record business this year as people are hunkering down for a summer at home. Consumer reporter John Matarese explains so you don't waste your money.
Thanks to stimulus checks, that extra federal unemployment, and companies rehiring, many people are starting to spend money again. But what we're spending it on is very different than last year. While millions of workers are still unemployed and tightening the belt, others are opening their wallets again. According to the Dow Jones News Service, the businesses benefiting, however, have changed dramatically. Dow Jones says Americans have stopped spending money on airfare, distant resorts, summer camps, and concerts. That means they have more money to spend on summer staycations. Result, sales are soaring for boats, campers, pools, jacuzzis, and bicycles. In addition, spending is up on home improvement items as people hunker down for a summer at home. That includes paint, plants, and patio furniture, all things to make our nest a little nicer. At this point, you can't take a cruise or fly to a foreign country, which is bad news for airlines and cruise ships, but it's good news for campgrounds and nearby Airbnbs, so you don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese. Good morning, Indiana.
Well, for more cost-saving tips and ideas, just visit the money section of our website, theindychannel.com.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now in Good Morning Indiana on this Tuesday morning, here's a look at your 6:30 news feed. A sad update this morning. We've learned a young swimmer pulled from a Park County creek has died. 8-year-old Athena Welsh from Brazil died at St. Vincent Clay Hospital after struggling in the Big Raccoon Creek near Mansfield. Welsh's death is the 7th drowning death in Indiana in the past week.
One of the last remaining survivors of the sinking of the USS Indianapolis during World War II has died. The USS Indianapolis Facebook page says that Tony King died on Monday at the age of 94. King had lost touch with much of his family until 2017 when he was located by the USS Indianapolis Survivors Group. There are now only 8 survivors of the ship's sinking who are still with us.
An independent committee will study IMPD's response to the protests over the death of George Floyd and racial injustice. Mayor Joe Hogsett announced that the group will review if and how officers followed current policies and recommend any changes. The committee will be made up of 3 people and it's independent from the city. Last week, the ACLU sued the city over the police use of tear gas during those protests.
Madison County commissioners have failed to extend the county's needle exchange. The purpose behind the exchange was to slow the spread of disease among intravenous drug users. Aspire Health Indiana took over the program in 2018, but the needle exchange was put into limbo after commissioners failed to vote by June 5th to renew it.
In more local news, heavy rain overnight proving to be a problem for at least one Indianapolis street. RTV6 photojournalist Jonathan Christians captured this high water near 30th and Rural Street. One car drove into the high water caused by the blocked storm drains and flooded out. The driver was not injured, but you're always reminded to turn around. Do not drown. Be careful of those high water situations. Good morning to all of you, and good morning to my three favorite people on this Tuesday, June the 23rd. Lauren, it is great to have you back, by the way.
Thank you. I had a good couple days off, and I got to fill in a little bit this weekend, so that was a lot of fun. And something else that was a lot of fun the past few days has been the dry weather for getting out and doing all the things we want to do this summer, but we did need the rain.
Yeah, meteorologist Todd Clausen is standing by now with what we can expect for the rest of our Tuesday. Hey, Todd.
Yeah, you know, the timing worked out pretty well. The heaviest of the rain came through during the overnight hours. I know there were a few heavy downpours yesterday afternoon across the area, but the rain's moving out. So going forward in this Tuesday, just got to be a little bit patient here this morning with the dreary conditions and the clouds that are around. But eventually we will get into sunshine here this afternoon. A live look from downtown off to the west past the White River State Park and the Indianapolis Zoo. And you can see the low overcast sky still. And we're going to be dealing with these clouds for the next few hours. That's not going to change with temperatures that are going to be in the 60s, so we hold pretty steady. But once we get into the afternoon hours, we'll start to get into the sunshine, the humidity will start to drop, and we will see a little bit of a breeze kick in. But here's what's left of the rainfall. You need to see some showers near Greensburg, and that is just about it. And then back off to our west, the sky's already starting to clear in Illinois. So just be a little bit patient again throughout the morning hours. The afternoon will be much brighter and more comfortable with temperatures that will range anywhere from about 75 to 80 degrees. Lauren?
All right, Todd, thanks. Let's take a look right now at traffic as you're heading out the door this morning. This is I-465, a view near Ditch Road on the north side. Traffic is moving along smoothly, as you can see, both eastbound and westbound. It's a pretty smooth morning commute for you on this Tuesday. Of course, we'll continue to keep our eyes on your roads. We'll let you know if there are any crashes or delays.
Breaking news this morning as Call 6 investigates has new information involving the fatal police shooting death of Dray Reed. Call 6 has learned that during the exchange of gunfire that Reed shot at police twice and that Officer DeJour Mercer fired more than 10 rounds. Call 6 has also learned that the weapon found by Reed's body matches the description of the weapon in Reed's front waistband seen during the Facebook Live stream. Now, the legal team for the estate of Dray Reed is pushing back this morning. In a statement to RTV6, they say in part, the only thing we can definitely say about Dray Sean Reed's firearm is that he checked it with TSA when he moved from Texas to Indiana. We would love to ask Dray more about how he came to own his firearm, but we cannot because he was stolen from us by Officer DeJour Mercer. They go on to say, we look forward to proceeding in the federal action that we filed last week so that we can finally have access to this purported evidence and all the reports that have yet to be released. Call 6 Investigates has also learned that a federal database has connected the casings from the weapon found near Reed's body with casings recovered from a separate situation in which bullets caused some property damage. We don't know when or how or who was behind that situation, but Call 6 Investigates will continue to ask questions. Meredith?
Raphael, thank you. It has been months since many businesses in downtown Indianapolis have been filled with customers, and just as coronavirus restrictions were eased, some restaurants and stores were boarding up windows after protests turned violent.
And now some of those businesses are coming back, but others are wondering about their long-term futures. So this morning, our Kelsey Anderson is joining us live. She talked to a business owner about their plans during these uncertain times. Kelsey.
Hey, good morning. So businesses are still trying to come back after being off for months, being closed because of the pandemic and also because of the protests. You can see here behind me, businesses still boarded up. And here at Jack's Donuts, they are reminded every morning of these protests with a message that says, I'm sorry, Chris, but we have to be heard. That's the message on the boarded up window outside of Jack's Donuts. Chris Carnavis had a front row seat watching downtown Indy go from lively to ghost town. Carnavis owns Jack's Donuts on Market Street. His donut shop was one of the first businesses to be damaged when peaceful protests turned into violent riots on May 29th. He has reopened his store but says he plans to keep the boards up until city leaders address the concerns of protesters. He says business owners would like to have a word with him too. He says after months of disruptions, downtown Indy needs help or it may never be the same.
we've lost a lot of business downtown. I think when this all shakes down, I think we're going to end up with a lot of empty real estate. We need people to come see our establishments and spend money and revitalize the city.
Carnivus says he has not heard from the mayor since all of this happened and believes he should be out meeting with business owners and the community. Now, we did reach out to Mayor Hogsett's office, and Deputy Communications Director Mark Bodie says, quote, the mayor's office has been in continued contact with downtown establishments and associations throughout the past several months. We are working to maintain lines of communication with businesses on reopening from both the pandemic and the protest, while also supporting advocacy organizations, including Downtown Indy, to support businesses during this difficult time. Now, of course, Jack's Donuts is not the only place downtown that looks like this and is boarded up and trying to come back after all of these months off of work. So they're asking if you have extra time and extra money to please come downtown and spend that money on these local shops. That way we can revitalize the community. Reporting live, Kelsey Anderson, RTV6.
Kelsey, thank you so much. The time now is 6:36 here on Good Morning Indiana. Today, a warning from the nation's top health experts on the coronavirus. The number of cases continues to spike in a number of states. As ABC's Alex Prochet reports, that could lead to lockdowns making a comeback.
With more than 2.3 million cases and 120,000 deaths, the nation's top health experts are warning our coronavirus pandemic could get much worse. Dr. Anthony Fauci and other health experts will testify before the House today. Their prepared remarks posted online stating COVID-19 activity will likely continue for some time. And if there is COVID-19 and flu activity at the same time, this could place a tremendous burden on the healthcare system. Utah's dealing with a burden of its own. After partially reopening, a state public health official is warning this new surge in cases could force a complete shutdown. The virus is rising in 23 states and Puerto Rico. 12 states have hit records nobody wanted, their highest levels of coronavirus ever. Texas is one of them. The infection rates have doubled there, so have hospitalizations.
We are moving very fast in the wrong direction.
The governor's advocating for face coverings.
I know that some people feel that wearing a mask is inconvenient or that it is like an infringement of freedom. But I also know that wearing a mask will help us to keep Texas open.
Florida's also on that list. The state has had more than 100,000 cases.
Everyone will have to be wearing masks in public.
This is a real trajectory. There is a real consequence to not following rules.
Now more than a dozen mayors there are making masks mandatory. Arizona's also reporting record high hospitalization rates. President Trump is scheduled to hold a campaign rally at a private church in Phoenix later today. The mayor there says that rally is not sanctioned or permitted by the city of Phoenix and called on the president to follow the city's policy and wear a mask. Organizers are expecting about 3,000 people to attend that Trump rally in Phoenix today. They'll be asked, but not required, to wear masks. Alex Prochet, ABC News, Washington.
The conversation might be uncomfortable at times, but it's one that has to happen. Next, we'll show you how the biggest school system in the area is tackling the talk about systemic racism.
And they make sure that hundreds of kids have the school supplies they need each year, but the pandemic is forcing them to make some big changes. We'll show you how they still plan to make sure that every child has what they need to start a new school year. That story and more coming up after the break. Welcome back. Covering education this morning. On Thursday, Indianapolis Public Schools will hold a community conversation on race. This type of discussion has become more prominent in recent weeks, but it's nothing new at IPS. The district has been making anti-racism efforts for years now. Since 2015, all teachers, staff, bus drivers, and food service employees have been required to take part in a 2-day racial inequity training. More than 70% of the students in the district are black and brown. Dr. Patricia Payne, the IPS Racial Equity Office Director, says addressing racial disparities is a top priority.
We help teachers start examining their belief systems, and we aren't just talking about white teachers either. We're talking about all teachers, because racism can be internalized by black and brown people. If that student's skin color is black or brown, automatically, in way too many cases, your expectations sink to the ground.
The district hopes to involve students in this training starting in the fall. If you're interested in taking part in Thursday's town hall, just go to myips.org to register.
And a program that helps hundreds of those students here in Indianapolis, typically that gets started around this time of year. But the COVID-19 pandemic will mean big changes for the Indy Backpack Attack.
And this really, Meredith, is a great program, and they're still looking for so many more supplies to give to young people. Our Alyssa Donovan tells us how they plan to pass out those supplies in a quite different way. Alyssa, good morning.
Every year, Indy Backpack Attack asks for donations of backpacks, notebooks, colored pencils, you name it. But this year, they're doing things a little bit differently.
Typically, Indy Backpack Attack would be passing out boxes to collect school supplies donations right now. But instead, they're asking for monetary donations only this year. This will eliminate the issues of supplies trading hands over and over again in the donation process, allowing the organization to buy supplies in bulk and send it straight to schools that need them. They'll also be cutting back the amount of volunteers. That way there won't be as many people working in the warehouse sorting supplies.
We had to make those adaptations to make sure that we can protect the volunteers, we can protect the students, and we can protect the faculty at the school as well.
The goal is to raise $300,000 by July 24th, so they have plenty of time to place orders and ship supplies to schools.
The virtual kickoff event for the 2020 school supply drive is this Wednesday at 8 a.m. For details on how to participate or donate, you can visit theindychannel.com. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Well, she says she fears for the safety of her own kids because of what's happening on her streets. Next, what a Johnson County mother wants done about the drivers she says are just racing through her neighborhood. Todd.
And Lauren, many areas picked up some needed rainfall for the farms and the lawns here across central Indiana throughout the overnight hours. The rain's moving out. That is the good news. Temperatures will hold pretty steady this morning with still kind of that damp feeling around. But as we work our way into the afternoon hours, we should get into the sunshine. It'll be a little breezy at times, but overall it's a decent afternoon for us with temperatures close to 80 degrees. We'll talk more about today and look ahead to the rest of the weekend, ahead to the weekend coming up in your Storm Team 6 forecast. The time now is 6:44. Stay with us. We're back in just a couple minutes.
Appointment at select stores or at mybobs.com.
Welcome back to Good Morning Indiana. Here is a live look right now at traffic on I-70 west of Lyndhurst Drive. Very quiet out there. The eastbound lanes are closed on I-70 between Ronald Reagan Parkway and the South Split for an ongoing construction project set to wrap up June 28th. The westbound side, which is traveling up to speed right now, will be closed at the end of the work week. We'll continue to keep you updated on that long-term project. Well, it has been 1 year since RTV6 helped to give a homeowner in Greenwood a voice about dangerous drivers in the neighborhood.
And Lauren, now 1 year later, the people who live in the Briarstone subdivision say that speeding remains a problem. Let's take you down to this Johnson County community. Before the pandemic, the mayor was working with the neighborhood to address the issue. And the police chief promised to put out traffic control boxes to monitor the street to see if extra patrols were needed. But residents say they still need the help.
I just want to protect our kids, our animals. I mean, dogs do sometimes get out. I'm worried about our animals. As much as a parent tries really hard to teach their kids not to run out in the street, there's going to be accidents.
RTV6 reached out to the city about this issue. They referred us to the police department, who told us they are following up on the problem. The time now is 6:48, and Todd Clausen, as I look outside of my living room here in Johnson County, the sun is breaking through the clouds. It looks like it's going to be a pretty nice day.
It will turn into a very nice day, Raphael. You just got to be a little bit patient. Some areas getting into a little bit of sunshine right now. The clouds will kind of fill back in, but by this afternoon, we should be able to push them all off to the east and enjoy a sun-filled afternoon for most of us across the area. Here's the view across downtown Indianapolis, and actually kind of a pretty sky. You have a little bit of blue mixed in there with still the low overcast skies here across the area. And the morning hours, think of it as a transition. We had the heavier rainfall throughout the overnight showers. We're starting to work in the drier air, but you're just going to have to be a little bit patient here for us to completely get rid of the cloud cover and start to work in all the sunshine that I do think we'll enjoy this afternoon. As far as the rain goes, there's still a little bit of rain lingering down to the south, a few spotty showers in and around the Seymour area, and then as we work our way towards Greensburg and then up towards the Connorsville area, even into the Richmond area, you still see a little bit of light rain, but this will move off into Ohio pretty quickly over the next hour. And then with the exception of, I think, a stray shower when the actual front pushes through, that which is probably mid-morning around the noon hour, there could be a stray shower when that happens, but that would be very light and very brief, really nothing to worry about. So just carry on with your outdoor plans. It's not going to be a downpour or anything if you're on the golf course or out and about for a walk or a run. That's going to get you super wet, and you can just kind of see a few of those little specks of green here on TrueCast. So it's only going to be on an isolated basis as well. It's nothing that's going to be widespread, but once that moves off to the east by 2-3 o'clock, we should be partly cloudy across the entire area. And then as we work our way into the evening hour, skies will be mainly clear. So a great afternoon ahead for us, with temperatures that'll hold pretty steady in the mid-60s here as you see this morning. But once we do get into that sunshine later on this afternoon, those temperatures will take the jump up into the upper 70s for us. It turns a little bit breezy. That's the only real flaw later on this afternoon, but the trade-off is the less humid air mass. And again, those temperatures in the mid-70s. Tomorrow we're in the 70s as well, with skies that'll be mostly sunny to start, then turning partly cloudy in the afternoon. Tomorrow, there's a very small chance of a stray shower or two, but other than that, we're in pretty good shape. And then Thursday is just absolutely terrific. Great sleeping weather. We start off in the 50s to right around 60 degrees, warm it up to 83 with mostly sunny skies. And then it turns a little more uncomfortable over the weekend with high temperatures in the upper 80s and about the daily chance of some isolated storms Friday all the way through Monday, but none of those days, Lauren, look to be a washout for us across the area.
Todd, thank you. Let's take a look at traffic right now as you're heading out there. This is south of downtown on I-65 and Keystone Avenue. In the middle of that construction project, the major one on the bridge of I-65 going over Keystone Avenue. Two major traffic shifts for northbound drivers, and southbound you are restricted down to just 2 lanes. The ramps in that area remain open. We saw some workers out there earlier this morning, so just use caution. This is an active construction zone, so you'll need to take it slow and pay attention to that traffic shift there, especially if you're traveling northbound this morning. We'll continue to keep you updated. Right now, no crashes to report around the metro area.
Carnival Cruise Line says it's canceling all cruises through the end of September. The decision comes as the industry voluntarily extended their suspension of U.S. cruises until September 15th. Carnival says they are monitoring other areas of travel and will, quote, take all the necessary steps to ensure the health and safety of guests, crews, and communities. For anyone whose trips are now canceled, they can choose either a full refund or credit towards a future trip.
So he's going to play an infamous fighter on the big screen. And according to some recent pictures, he looks like he's morphing into that fighter himself. We'll show you the person behind these buff pictures next on Good Morning Indiana.
Our TV6 app on your phone or streaming device.
It is 6:55. Here is a live look at traffic right now at I-465 and East 71st Street. You can see everything's traveling up to speed. No crashes to report right now around the metro area. So you may have seen the news that Jamie Foxx's next movie role was going to be a big one. Fox is getting ready to shoot a biopic about former heavyweight boxing champion Mike Tyson.
If you've seen Jamie before, you may be wondering how he might go about changing his look to match that of the boxer. Well, now we are starting to find out.
So, ladies, we hate to brag on Good Morning Indiana, but finally someone is using Todd Clausen's workout routine. So let me show you what's behind Todd's routine. These are pictures of Jamie Foxx that he posted on Facebook about his workout. You can see that he's obviously been bulking up for a while now. The actor is 52 years young, and I believe that he is 52 years young because he looks fantastic. He said in a recent interview he will be at 216 pounds when they begin shooting, and then he'll bulk up to maybe 225 or 230 for the fight scenes. Fox says he guarantees that people will run up to him in the street and think, "Are you Mike Tyson?" A release date for the movie has not been announced. Now you ladies know why Todd and I keep our jackets closed during Good Morning Indiana. We just don't want to,
Yes.
brag, you know?
I believe it.
You know, this jacket's not getting tighter from the quarantine weight. It's all the workouts I've been doing.
That's right. That's right. Little apple pie, little pumpkin pie. You know.
That's right. Donut here and there. So
some beer to wash it down.
Yeah.
Oh, you know that too. So, all right. If you're working out outside today, later on this afternoon, probably a little better than this morning. This morning's not terrible. It's just a little more humid and kind of dreary. But as we go throughout the day, the clouds will decrease. The humidity will drop. 78 later on this afternoon. So just be patient. Turns into a pretty nice day. Tomorrow, mostly sunny, 79. Thursday's the best day of the week. 83 and sunshine before a daily storm chance re-enters the forecast starting on Friday.
All right, Todd, thank you. We're back here in 25 minutes and all throughout Good Morning America with news, weather, and traffic updates.
We hope you have a great Tuesday.